Wow, look at this handsome man.
Hi, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we are with the mighty, the immortal, the Bruce Buffer of the UFC. Welcome to the show, Bruce Buffer.
Oh, thank you. Pleasure to be on. Hi, guys. Chris, Jesse, all good? Sorry, I'm a little jet lagged. I'm back from Fight Island. You know, it's been a crazy couple of weeks over there, that's for sure.
I can only imagine. How was your trip, and how was the trip back?
The trip is fine. You know, the UFC does such a good job with the bubble they have us in and the safety and protocol we all have to be through. You know, I have to go to I live in L.A. I live in Los Angeles, so I have to go to what is it? I have to go to Vegas, get tested, quarantine for this time 36 hours. Then we're all in a private commercial Etihad jet over. Dana's with us and all the fighters. We go over. There's another plane that takes other people over too, and another plane. But then when we land, we're tested, quarantined, then tested again and quarantined for a total of 48 hours. But it's like a 5-star jail. And we're in the W Hotel. The service is impeccable. I have a beautiful suite. They put kettlebells and yoga mats, and they know I like to work out like a fiend. So, you know, I'm playing online poker, working on my fight cards, running my businesses back here in the States, and training as much as I can over a 2-day quarantine. And I just keep it up from that point forward because we can't leave the property. We have to stay on the property.
Yeah. Now, you weren't smuggling people in, right? Cutting wristbands and climbing balconies?
Actually, that was the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible move. I was probably out there for a couple minutes, and I realized that was a violation of protocol, so I got back to my room.
It's always something with the UFC. I feel like there's always some sort of weird drama spectacle going on there.
I got one word or a few words for that. Stupid is as stupid does. That was just the dumbest thing ever to jeopardize your career. This kid, and I like him too. I mean, his performance is everything. He was on his way to a shining example of an Octagon warrior, and just to make a dumb move like that, that's a move he's going to regret no matter where he winds up, because every MMA fighter, no matter where they're at with respect to Bellator and all the fine organizations out there, they all want to be in the Octagon.
For sure.
You know, whether they want to be introduced by me or not, that's another story, but they all want to be in the Octagon, you know.
I'm sure. Well, we want to be introduced by you. That's why we got you for our intro over here. I tell you what, the feedback has been so great, and we've been meaning to have you on here. So this is a pleasure to have you on our show. Bruce Buffer, The Fly. I want to talk about this real quick. This Fly.
Yeah, I know. I'm the, what am I now? I'm the flyweight champion of Fly Island, I guess it is.
So the first event, like right when you get there, this happens. I'm going to show it real quick over here as you're announcing, and here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
That is one of the best things I've ever seen. The Fly hits the face. What was going through your mind when that happened?
Well, you know, the show must always go on, and I have a grand ability, whether I'm blowing an ACL in the Octagon or blowing out my back. Everything's happened in there over my 25-year tenure, which February 16th is my 25th year of being in the Octagon. I'll be celebrating my 25-year anniversary. I've had more things happen, probably forgot more than I can remember, but that damn fly, it hit me, and I could handle it, but then it started going into my eye, and it's like, no, this is not going to work. So I had to take that sucker out at that point. There was one time in Brazil, some of the arenas there slightly archaic, you know, with all respect to my beloved Brazil and the amazing fans down there. But I remember one time a bug flew in my mouth.
Oh, wow.
So I just swallowed it because I know it was protein. So I figured, no problem, just swallow that sucker, and hopefully it'll wind up on my bicep or something by tomorrow. So we'll see.
That is unbelievable.
That's hilarious.
Well, that's going to warm you up, right? If you're going to start off with a fly swatting around your face over there, that's great starts at Fight Island.
I've done some crazy things in my life, and it's just amazing how they go viral overnight. You know, it's you never know in this world of publicity and PR and TMZ. It's crazy. But hey, if people got entertainment out of it, I'm very self-deprecating. If I can make you laugh and I'm the brunt of the joke, I got no problem with that. I'm cool.
That is awesome how you roll with the punches. A lot of people are kind of uptight, especially when they hit that level of fame that you're at. You know, it's pretty much like, just leave me alone. But you kind of roll with it. I see you on social media. I see you doing interviews. Super polite, so nice. How do you stay so humble with this success?
Well, I appreciate your kind words. First off, I don't like the word celebrity. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't believe that somebody's better than somebody else unless you can jump higher, run faster, you know, throw a baseball, kick a 60-yard field goal, whatever, the stuff I can't do or have a hard time doing. I just believe we're all created equal, and I treat everybody with respect. I treat everybody around me the way I want to be treated, and I just go out there. I just want to do my job, you know, and I just want to do my job the best I can. Sure, there's benefits to the world in which I live. Like in Vegas, I don't have to stand in line. That's probably my favorite benefit in the world, whether it's a club or an event when we're out of COVID again. But I just treat everybody equal, you know. And my whole thing with me is, I don't live on my laurels. I've done a lot, and I have a lot of stuff happening you're going to hear about coming out. But it's just about, it's a proving ground to me. Every night I step in that octagon, I consider it my first night. I have to prove to myself, the powers that be, Dana, people I work with, the fighters, the great fans out there, the media such as yourself, that I deserve this job. And that's how I hold my passion. And I'm very passionate about what I do. I can't announce like that. I can't phone that kind of announcing in. So the moment my passion starts to wane, then it's time for me to retire. And if you ever hear me say that, it's either because I physically can't do what I'm doing the way I love to do it, because I'm not going to stand there like a stiff, no disrespect to the other announcers. I put my passion on the floor. I know what it's like to fight. I know what these fighters, men and women, go through. I've been around the fighting world for 30 plus years, even before the UFC. So I am there to pay homage and respect and enhance the moment for the fighters and for the fans watching. And the moment I can't do that 150% the way I like to do it, then, you know, I'll go surf the rest of my life and hang out and run other businesses and chill out.
Well, that's wonderful, wonderful. I got to say this. I just want to give you a little respect here. UFC 196, Conor McGregor versus DIAZ 1. Before we were doing this podcast over here, I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I see you in the hallway in Vegas. I chased you down, and I took a picture with you. And I was so starstruck, and I knew you were super busy. You just did the, I think it was the ceremonial weigh-ins, and you were kind of charging through the, I think it was MGM. And you stopped, you took a picture, and from that point on, I was like, damn, man, he's a good guy. I know he's busy. I know he doesn't want to be taking a picture right now, but the fact that you stopped with the fans and took some pictures like that, it's very respectful.
I appreciate that, and I've had that attitude the whole time. I have an amazing mother. My dad is no longer with me, but I had great parents. My dad was in the Marines for 13 years. I was taught respect. I was taught blood and honor. I've been a martial artist since I was 12. And I really realized, knowing that I've been with the UFC since it was a spectacle, you know, fastest growing pay-per-view on TV, down to where there's 1,500 people in the audience and Kevin Randleman's slipping on a pole and knocking himself out in the back in Louisiana, and we're losing a main event, and at the lowest point, the Fertitta's by it with Dana, and we're on our way up, and, you know, tough one, the finale. I've been in all the ups and downs, and you just got to appreciate where we've been and what we've come from. But the bottom line is, the fans kept us alive at the worst time we were ever in. You know, the internet, thank God, we were off in demand. We're only on DirecTV. The fans kept us alive. The fans are spending their money for the tickets, for the pay-per-views. They deserve the attention, and even whether you're a media fan asking me for an autograph, and also it's a huge compliment to me that you even want my autograph or you want to take a picture with me. And I've never lost that feeling, and I never will. I don't like being around arrogant and cocky people. Okay? There's two types of egos. There's constructive and there's conceited. I'm constructive, and I think it takes that to be successful in life. And I just trying to be a role model to my sphere of influence, like I say on my podcast. I have a very simple theory. I'm sorry to keep being so overwordy, but I have a 3-foot theory in life. I apply this to business, personal life, family, love, everything. If people in my 3-foot theory, if I can benefit them to help them be happy, prosperous, and healthy, it'll all come back to me. It's a very unselfish attitude, and I will not lose that attitude.
I have to learn from you. I'm a cocky bastard. Like,
he really is.
I'm a smug, cocky bastard over here. And I make people very upset, but it sparks up conversation on the show. I'm a big Conor McGregor fan. I puff my chest out, you know, do the whole song and dance over there. I want to segue real quick. I mean, you did 3 events, and listen, the elephant in the room is the Conor McGregor situation. You were there for the first time for him ever being knocked out. Dustin Poirier puts on a performance of a lifetime here. What was it like being in the building for that moment?
It was, listen, it's always an incredible moment when Conor McGregor, who's one of those rare fighters that comes along every few years, like a Ronda Rousey, John Jones, it has what we call the it factor, right? And Conor, the thing about it is that it was amazing to watch. I was asked about the fight. I never say who's going to win. I'm always saying may the best man win. But on paper, I'll discuss the fight. And I laid out how Poirier could win this fight. And actually, if you go back to a couple of the interviews I did, not saying, hey, Bruce knew what was going on, but he followed the game plan perfectly, right? And he won. And I did have a feeling that was going to take place, although I would never say that publicly. Conor's such a monster. But the thing that impressed me the most this week is Conor's humility and honor and loss, his humbleness, but also the way he handled himself. This is the Conor McGregor I love. And I've gone public talking about the way Conor's handled himself in the past because I didn't like it. and we all know what I'm talking about. Okay,
Yeah.
the instances. But he has the it factor. He's a tremendous amount of attention. But Conor now, he handled himself so perfectly this week, such a perfect role model for the sport, everything. I was so proud of him, even in defeat. And he's a strong personality. I like Conor. That's why I got affected when some of the things happened in the past. But that's the past. Everybody has a right to redeem themselves. And I just hope Conor stays on this road, because his future is even brighter acting like that. He can still sell 1.5 million, 2 million pay-per-views without, wondering who the fuck that guy is, right? It's like, and if it comes out, we all laugh. It's funny, but it's all in the way you handle yourself.
Let me ask you this question. I'm just curious, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. So Conor McGregor acting this way, though, do you think it might be a problem with his fighting style? I mean,
like a distraction.
Yeah, he looks like it's great that he's all respectful. He's a family man now, but I do feel that this confidence and this bravado kind of took a step back with him being polite, and they're sharing hot sauce, they're hugging each other and this and that. I feel like it affected him in the cage. Do you think that might be something that won't be effective for him in the future? Maybe he might have to go back a little bit to the craziness?
Well, I think my first thought on that, as you asked me the question, is that's a kink in his mental armor if that's an effect. Go back to some of the greats in the sport, like Randy Couture. Do you ever see Randy Couture act like an asshole?
No.
Okay, one of the greatest fighters ever.
Well, maybe.
You either have the confidence in your fighting ability of who you are, and there's a lot of marketing and selling of the fights here. I think Conor's gone through an evolutionary process, as we all do, took him to the moment that he is as he is this week. Acting that way can be damaging to his brand with all that he has going on. But innately, no matter how you act, inside you are either the fighter that you truly are, or you shouldn't be fighting.
Fair enough.
So Conor should be inside the same fighter he always has been, which is an amazing warrior, right? And if it takes, cursing and going crazy and grabbing belts and, throwing cans and stepping on phones and all the stuff that's, happened in the past, then I think that's an imbalance.
Yeah,
I hope this is truly who Conor is, because I met Conor when he was 19 years old, when I was at my first show in Dublin. And I remember when he came up to me and he said, my name is Conor McGregor. I'm going to be champion someday. Remember it. Right. And then a few years later, when he walked in the Octagon, I remembered this kid. Now I've had a lot of kids come up to me and say that. Okay. But I remembered him when he said it, because that shows the intestinal fortitude, the internal dream and goal-oriented person that he is. So he's a true fighter. So it's a matter of what his true personality is like, right? And if that's what his personality is like and he's got to go back to that, so be it. I'm just saying that I think for the benefit of him, his brand, his popularity, everything, that the Conor McGregor I saw this week, hey, look at some of the great boxers, the way they handled themselves over the years, Muhammad Ali and all that, respect, like I was preaching about earlier. I'm just all about that. So maybe I'm a little old school, maybe I'm not, but we live in a decaying society and morality, and I don't want to be part of the decay any more than it's happening right now.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Speaking of like partying, going crazy and stuff like this, you always have a respectable personality, persona in the cage and wherever you are on social media. But let's talk about partying. I mean, you are all over the world. Are you a party guy? Are you going out there having fun, getting hookers and stuff like that? Talk to me, Bruce. We don't hear the party side about you.
Okay, well, I'm not a hooker guy. Okay, I'm not into play for pay. So that's one down.
Okay.
I'm also a guy that comes from the school that those who talk don't do, and those who do don't talk.
Gotcha. All right. So,
but I've had more fun than most 5 men put together, and I've enjoyed myself respectfully. I've had a great time. It's part of the enjoyment of doing the job I do. When I was younger, before I met my brother, I used to get enamored of this guy that had this James Bond debonair, look, this handsome, dressing like he was, and traveling the world like James Bond, and thinking, oh man, 007, he must meet all the beautiful women and the parties and this, that. And I thought that's to be such a great lifestyle. So that was kind of part of my interest in getting into this, aside from my love for public speaking and my love for my love for fighting and for the fighting sports. So it all came true. So in short answer to your question with the long answer, have I enjoyed myself in my lifetime? Absolutely. I've had a great time.
And how do you balance this? I mean, I don't know if you're a married person or anything like that. I don't know anything about your personal life.
I've never been married. I've almost been divorced twice.
Okay. I'm divorced. So almost been divorced. I am divorced. Do you have any kids?
I helped raise my ex-girlfriend from 25 years ago, who I almost did marry. Kristen is my business partner. When people write in to my website, brucebuffer.com, or when they write in for videos and audios and stuff, she's the one that gets back to them.
Okay.
She's my business partner. She's my right arm. We run this huge business we have, all the different areas we have. It's her and I. We get it all done. So she married a great guy who I'm very good friends with, a great husband. And when she had her kids, I'm godfather to her child and uncle to the other, and I've been with them since they've been out of the womb, and I help raise these 2 boys. So never been married. I don't have children in my own blood, but I'm godfather and basically second dad to 12 and 15-year-old boys.
Do you think in this line of work, it's tough though to have a relationship, to have like a family? I mean, you like dedicate yourself to this sport. Do you think it would be impossible to hold together a traditional family like that?
I talk about it in my book, It's Time. I wrote, 8 years ago. I have a chapter in there to all the girls I've loved before, and I go into a subject, matter. There's sacrifice to be made. Absolutely. It takes a very special person to be in a relationship with me that can deal with the travel and not be jealous, and that kind of stuff. Because when I'm committed, I don't fool around. I'm committed. And the reason I stay single is because I don't stay. I'm dating someone, really wonderful right now. But if I'm in a relationship, I'm committed. Otherwise, why be in the relationship? Okay. And I'm always honest with everybody I go out with. And it's always worked for me. Honesty is the best policy.
Absolutely. That's a great way to think.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, you mentioned that you had been...
Do me a favor, I can't see you.
Oh, you can't see it?
I can see you, but I can't see Jesse.
Oh, shit. Oh,
Squeeze in.
I don't know why this is...
There's Jesse. There you go.
I apologize about that.
Oh, we got Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, I am definitely the Beast. That's for sure. Here, Jesse, come on in.
All right, I'll squeeze
on
in.
On the live replay, you'll see the whole screen, but unfortunately...
Okay, it's all good. It's all good.
Everyone in the live chat, this is not an awkward interview, I promise.
Okay, get in there, Jess.
I want to know, you said that you had been doing martial arts since you were 12. Did you ever think that if you never pursued like announcing or anything like that, would you have become a professional fighter?
Not a professional fighter, but what happened was, I fought a lot as a kid. We've all had our experiences, right? And as a teenager into my 20s too. Being a surfer in Malibu, where I moved to from Philadelphia when I was 15, I was Baywatch before Baywatch, and surfers are very territorial, and there was a lot of fights going on, and all we did was surf, train, spar, and fight, and I really enjoyed it. And then I got into the world of kickboxing, because I wanted to fight for real. And I actually was training to have one pro fight. And I was like 32 or 31 at the time. And I got concussed twice during my training, which was probably on top of God knows how many other concussions I've dealt with. You don't know. I think when you get head trauma, basically you have been concussed. Yeah. Whether I'm getting slapped by a 10-foot wave in Hawaii or, and getting out going, whoa, that was crazy. Yeah. Right? Or kickboxing. So on my second concussion, I had to go to the doctor because I was experiencing concussive reactions, slurring my speech and the headaches and all that went with it. And he said, you need to stop this. He said, are you making money from this? I said, no, I have 2 businesses. I'm doing great. I just love to do this. And he said, well, train, but don't take the head trauma anymore. Because what you're experiencing today, which is going to go away, could stay with you when you turn 45 and never go away. I took that very seriously.
So how do you feel about fighters who take, constant head trauma and they decide that they want to keep fighting, and even well into their 40s, they decide they want to continue their career, but they've taken so much trauma? For instance, Tony Ferguson. The guy seems like he has brain damage. Let's be honest here.
Well, you said that, I didn't. But I understand what you're saying. I feel, there are certain fighters you see that take so many punches, and I worry about their future. And one of the things that I can't stand when commentators say it is, man, he can take a punch. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, that's great, but there's an underlying thing to that. Look at football, all right? Mahomes goes down the other week into a concussive position. He's out the next week playing football. What happens when a fighter gets concussed? They can't fight for 3 to 6 months or whatever it is.
Sure.
So there's a reason for that. And it's something that we don't know what's going to happen until it happens, the CTE possibilities. But this is the nature of the business. How do you not take punches to the head? There's just no way to avoid it. It's something you have to accept going in. Yeah. So get your defense together. Don't take the punches. Yeah. When I was training, I probably spent more time training on defense than on offense.
Well, a guy like Max Holloway, who put on a spectacular performance, but what bothered me at the very end was he had his hands down. He's talking to the guys on the side. I'm sure you heard everything that he was saying, and he was just taking punches unnecessary. I feel like it doesn't mean anything if you're going to showboat like that and eat, significant strikes like that.
Well, Max fights the way he fights, and he's an incredible fighter, incredible striker, boxing abilities, the whole bit. There's very few MMA fighters that could stand themselves in a boxing ring against a true boxer, as well as a boxer's going to lose 99.9% of the time walking in the octagon.
Sure.
It remains to be seen. It just remains to be seen. Some people go through life, they take a lot of punches, and they're fine. Others suffer. It's kind of like COVID virus. Not everybody dies from it. Not everybody has the same effects. And then some people, healthiest of people, have the worst after effects possible. I won't mention name, but I know of one MMA fighter, not in UFC. He can't even do cardio 6 months after having COVID.
Wow.
But yet other people can get it and they're fine right after. It's just very temperamental.
Do you fear that there's going to be a serious injury one day? I'm knocking on wood because I freaking love this sport. But do you feel there's going to be a serious injury where they're going to have to severely alter the game, like take away elbows or knees or wear some sort of head protection? Do you think down the road this is inevitable, or you think they can navigate in a way where it can stay similar for a long period of time?
I think if that was going to happen, it would have already happened by now. There's been 3 or more deaths in mixed martial arts, not in the UFC Octagon. And I pray it never happens on my shift. And when you go back to where it happened, it was poor medical or letting guys fight too soon. But I think with what's happened already, with everything we've seen and all the injuries we've seen, that would have happened by now. This is the fight game. This is the hurt game. Okay. If you got to start wearing headgear, where's the attraction to the sport? Now, I can see that maybe in the Olympics, when it eventually makes the Olympics, what kind of headgear they would wear, I do not know. Probably elbows will not be allowed in the Olympics or knees, but there will still be, the wrestling, the boxing, and the combination of taekwondo and everything already in the Olympics put into the same one event with all the rules, which is going to be a form of mixed martial arts, which will probably eventually be an Olympic event.
Right.
I think that would have happened by now. And there's been enough serious injuries. I don't know what else could happen beyond, tragically, the few deaths that have happened to convince somebody that has to take place. I mean, what other injury could possibly happen? We've seen all the broken bones and broken egos possible.
Do you
and
feel,
it just keeps going on.
Do you feel boxing is a more dangerous sport? A lot of people say that when it comes to concussions and stuff like that, boxing is actually more dangerous than MMA.
Well, when you watch, the brawls that Gaethje and Holloway go through, it's similar to boxing. And Holloway threw, like 400 to 500 more punches, where in boxing in a 10, 12 round fight, there's 1,000 or more thrown, because the object is to hit the guy and knock him down for 10 seconds, to either be knocked out, where they get up again and they, have a chance to get knocked down again. And thank God for the amazing referees that we have that get in there and save and help these fighters, whether they make a quick decision that's right or wrong. That's their job, is safety. So boxing, yes, I think from the training and everything, I've said this all along, it is more dangerous. I mean, when you get down to it, there's a point, I don't know if it's the same this year, where 5 or more boxers a year were dying. Whether it's in training or whatever, which is not the case in mixed martial arts, but it's obvious why, with all the head trauma, where a lot of that happens in the training. I've been to an event, I forget the name of the boxer, where he did die that night. He died at the hospital after he left the ring, and I could tell it was horrible.
Oh, you were there that night?
Oh, yeah. I've seen so many boxing events, because remember, I managed my brother Michael Buffer. I've been going to boxing events for 30 years.
You still managing him? Pardon
me?
You still managing Michael?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
Everything Michael does, I'm the man behind the rumble, so Michael does his thing and I take care of business.
That's amazing. We've heard your life, so I'm not going to make you go into the whole story with your brother and everything like that. It's a fascinating story, though. I mean, and you still have this great relationship with him. It's unbelievable. It really is how that came about. Jesse's got a couple more questions for you over here.
Yeah. When you first started announcing, we were talking about, the growth of the UFC and where it's come from where it was. Did you ever think that it was going to become as big of a monster as it is today?
The moment I stepped in the octagon.
Really?
Everything is happening according to schedule.
Wow.
I think 3 steps ahead as I do. I live life like chess, right? And the reason that I fought my way into, it took me like a year and a half, and I tell the story in my book and I've told it in interviews, I just didn't get that job. I had my brother announce 3 events. I had to pull him out because we had a huge contract with the WCW Wrestling League, who was upset that he was doing UFC, because at that time wrestling wanted you to think that everything, when Hulk Hogan hit you 20 times in the head, that it was real, until a court case called it sports entertainment. So Michael could not have continued, and then Michael didn't get me that job. I got that job on my own because I just kept hounding the owners, traveling to New York, taking them out for drinks, telling them they needed me in the octagon. I had the media connections to help build the sport. I would help them build this brand, not just be an announcer, which I have for 25 years, done everything I could. I mean, I helped them get on Fox TV on the very first fight ever shown on network television that the UFC had. because of my connections at Fox. You know,
Wow.
and I set up a phone call with the Fertittas and George Greenberg at the time, who started working with them when Fox took over. And after that phone call, they created, I think it was UFC 37.5. So I have always gone beyond the Call of Duty to do everything I could for the UFC because I believed it would be the monster. I was even pitching to ESPN back when I started in 96, like in 98, about Ultimate Fighting Championship. And the one answer I got from them was that the name scared the hell out of them. Now look
Wow.
where we are, right?
Wow.
It's amazing the change, but it was a spectacle back then. I knew it would be the biggest thing in sports, and that's why I stuck with it, worked hard with it, took the short money I took, actually lost money going to events with my business world that I was in. Because in life, sometimes not sometimes, but you've got to have the intestinal fortitude and stick-to-itiveness to follow and reach your dreams, right? So everything is going according to schedule. I knew this was going to be huge.
I think
And
that's,
then when Dana and the Fertittas took over, that was the holy grail godsend. Then that was the answer. I knew at that point we were on our way.
I think that's what people don't realize. Like, not only are you a spectacular voice of the UFC, but you're even better businessman. It's pretty wild just following you on social media and see what you're into and how you're managing people. And you got your own bourbon coming out.
That's because in life, everybody has a puncher's chance, baby. That's it right there.
Now, where can we find that?
Finest bourbon in the world right here, and it just got a 9.5 rating. It's considered the hottest thing on the market, and it's setting records and selling like hotcakes here in the States. I'm very proud of my bourbon.
I'm going to throw out the Proper 12 and buy that now. Forget
in
it.
3 months, I can try it.
Proper 12 is a whiskey. Enjoy your Proper 12. Appreciate everything for everything. Connor's got a great product there in the way he's marketed and all. This is actually a $60 bourbon that we sell for around $30 because we wanted to have the best in the market, and I'm so proud of it. So proud of it.
That's great. And yeah, we're going to push our fans into getting that stuff. We'll have it on our show too. We'll definitely push that out. I got a question. We were talking about the UFC and the rise of the UFC, and there are other promotions like bare knuckle, for instance, right? What do you think? I mean, there's a lot of controversy with bare knuckle boxing. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm all about safety. I certainly know what it's like to fight bare knuckle, but you know, when you're in there the way those guys fight, I mean, I have no problem with it. They actually, one of the organizations called me and wanted me to announce it, which, you know, I could do if I wanted to. But I thought it was kind of a throwback for me. It kind of made me feel like I was stepping back to 1996, with all respect to the promoters that are doing it. And then, you know, it seems that the fighters that go into that, you know, listen, if they get good money and it's fine, but I don't see it as like a 5-year, 10-year career, you know?
Okay.
We talked about what we talked about earlier about, you know, head trauma and damage, but I can't say anything bad about it. It's just, it is what it is. And as long as the safety's there, everything's in place, they treat the fighters properly, they pay them properly, and the safety factor of the referees getting in there quick when they should, then I don't have a problem with it, you know?
Yeah. I have one more very important question. Who's in charge of the suits?
Who's the suit
Charge
guy?
of what?
In charge of your suits.
Oh, I am.
Do you have a new suit every time?
No, well, if I did, I'd have a house alone just for my suits. But no, what I do is like the one I wore the other night. That beauty. I love that suit.
That is beautiful.
That's raw jacquard silk. It's a one of a kind. It's amazing. With that, my tailors are My King. It's at My King and Bay. You can look them up on Instagram and, you know, on the web. It's at My King and Bay. They're out of Toronto. You can call them up, tell them Buff sent you. They'll make you the best suit. They'll deliver it to you anywhere. The prices are fantastic, especially if you tell them Buff sent you. They're amazing. I used to work with David August, who is Conor McGregor's tailor.
Oh,
I was the first one to wear those suits. And even used to tell Conor, you need this, right? Well, Conor went on to have his relationship with David August. I wasn't happy with the suit that David August made for him with the pinstripes that said F you in them, because that's not what I'm all about. That kind of turned me off. Okay.
Yeah.
But I created a relationship with King and Bay, and they're amazing. I can't say enough. So what we do is we just had a meeting about 2 months ago, on the suits for this year. They're making me, and they won't tell me what it is. This is one I have no control over. The 25th anniversary is next month, you know, on the 16th. So they're making me a special 25th anniversary outfit. I can't wait to see it. They're just unbelievable.
Awesome.
Down to the lining. So
yeah, I'm always like
I have
floored.
master tailors there. They'll surprise me, or we get together. So we're all in charge.
Yeah, it's crazy. Every time we watch an event, I always make a comment about the new spiffy suit going on, because I'm always floored. It always looks great.
I appreciate it. When I get home, you know, I go in the walk-in closet. It's like I put it to the back of the rack, and it slowly makes its way forward. So I'll probably wear it like twice a year.
Yeah.
And then I have a couple, like my classic black, James Bond type that I like to wear like every third, fourth, fifth show or whatever, which is the classic tuxedo. I have a couple of those that I pop in all the time.
That's awesome.
Well, Bruce, I have a million more questions, but I'm not going to keep you around. I'm going to ask you one more question over here.
You got another 5 minutes. If you got some good questions, you guys are very nice. I'm happy to.
Thank you for your time, Bruce. Appreciate it.
Sure.
The 155-pound belt. What is the UFC going to do with this thing? Is Poirier, are they going to give it to the Poirier, or are we going to see a fight for this?
Michael Chandler.
Michael Chandler flipping around over here. What we got?
I know as much as you know. I'm not the powers that be. I'm the media mercenary. I go in, they point, I shoot. I mean, I just do whatever. And my thoughts are, Dana said the winner of Poirier and Conor would fight Khabib. Mm-hmm. Now, Khabib obviously needs to have a fight that he can lift himself up for. That's his big thing. No matter what the money is, that's secondary. I understand Khabib as a person, and I really like Khabib, very respectful individual. And he just wants to be lifted, like George St. Pierre wants to be lifted for his fights. So time will tell. I mean, you got Gaethje and you got Ferguson. You got all these. It's a stacked division. My gosh. Chandler has a great attitude. I've had him on my podcast. I'm very impressed with Michael Chandler. Very impressed. Not just his fighting. I'm impressed with the man. Very, very cool guy. And he's got a great attitude. He's not out there being cocky and saying, I want to fight for the belt right now. He knows that he wants to take 1 or 2 fights and work his way in, and I respect that. He's got a golden career and millions of dollars ahead of him. That performance the other night was amazing. And I'm like Dana, okay, the backflip off the Octagon was great, but man, take it from a guy who blew his ACL in the Octagon announcing George St. Pierre in front of 55,000 people at Rogers Arena in Toronto. It just takes one wrong move and your whole career is on stall.
Yeah.
So be careful with that stuff, as cool as it was.
What about Chandler versus Gaethje? I mean, the backflip kings, both of them flipping off the cage. Would you like to see that fight?
Yeah, it's a war. Absolutely. I mean, name it. Chandler versus Gaethje, Chandler versus Ferguson, Chandler versus Khabib, Khabib versus Poirier. I mean, I love it all. I wake up every morning, with my passion that I carry for the sport and for these great warriors, and I just can't wait to get in that octagon and do my thing.
Yeah.
I'm a marketer. I'm a marketer and businessman first before I'm an announcer. But the most important thing is I'm a fan first before I'm an announcer. So I love what I do, and I respect these people so much. And when they look at me or they get in my face like Chiesa or like TJ Dillashaw or Dan Hardy, or they're going like this, wanting me to get into their corner. I mean, fighters don't let announcers in their space.
Yeah.
That's an honor for me. And granted, I'm a real aggressive announcer. I know that octagon like a basketball player knows his half court. I know exactly where I'm at every given moment.
There's sometimes I feel your head's going to explode, though. When you're screaming, it's time. I'm waiting for it to just combust. Your adrenaline must be going like through the roof.
If you've ever been at an event, and I don't think everybody's watching me, but I'm warming up. I'm doing what I do before I get in the octagon to get into my space. But listen, there's 2 ways I want to go in my life. I either want to be surfing and get nailed by a great white shark, or I want to be in the octagon going, it's time. Right there.
Have you ever had a woman, when you're intimate, say, Bruce, just say it. Just say it one time to me. Have you ever had that
I get asked that all the time. All I can tell you is that I've never said it at that moment. How's that?
Fair enough.
My mind's on other things besides my trade.
Bruce, you were a real sport. I really appreciate you coming on. If there's any shout outs or anything, plugs, now's the time to do it.
I appreciate it. I'll let you in on a little secret. I have a large company in the UK. I'm going to be releasing at the end of next month in March my toiletry line, the It's Time toiletry line. But the first product to come out is going to be the most amazing cologne you'll ever see. And the bottle is unbelievable. It's going to be it's distributed all over the world. You'll see it in the airports. You're going to see it here all over the United States. It's the It's Time cologne. I'm very proud about this. And it's an amazing smell that, Jesse, I think you're going to like very, very much.
Okay.
So it'll be your chance to smell like Buff. How's that?
Hey, listen, whatever gets me laid, I'm in.
I'll make Chris swear at every show.
This is amazing. Have you ever used a bidet, by the way?
Pardon me?
Have you ever used a bidet?
God, you've got some amazing questions.
Listen, I'm here for you.
Well, we had a bidet in the W Hotel. There was a bidet beside the toilet, and I think when I was jet lagged, I accidentally, peed into the wrong one. But outside of that, I don't think I ever purposely use it. I kind of like in my midnight sleep went, oh, that's not the right place.
The reason why I'm asking, we have a bidet sponsor, and I fell in love with it. I'm going to leave Jesse for a bidet. I love this thing. If you want, we'll send you one if you're interested, Bruce.
You know what? My house has got the perfect setup. I got those fancy Toyo toilets, so it's all good.
All right.
Listen, I'm all about cleanliness, so I'm glad to hear that you are too. And that's why, if everybody wants to manscape, you know what? I was doing that in my 20s before it was even known to be done. The girls take care of themselves for us. As a man, you should take care of yourself for your woman too.
Bruce, thank you again, man.
God.
Appreciate you coming on, and I would love to do this again sometime.
My pleasure. You're very courteous and very nice. I'd be happy to. If a little plug, the one thing that Kristen and I love doing, we started the championship introductions and the videos that we do, whether it's birth of babies, weddings, business videos and all that. But the fans love it. I did a Christmas thing for a couple weeks, and I haven't changed the prices since 3 years ago, and I get partial proceeds to animal, military, and children's charities.
Oh, wow.
But the thank you notes we get with the videos and audios that I do through brucebuffer.com, or even a Cameo where we do a ton of stuff, it really lights up our day. Sure, we're getting a little coin, but we're also giving coin out and saying thank you. But we're doing something that makes people happy. I told you, I love making people happy, man. If I make people happy, I'm happy.
Listen,
and that's just the way I live.
You made us happy. The fact that you're in our intro is the best thing that's ever happened to this channel. So
thanks.
We appreciate that.
Thank you. So let me know when this goes out, and I'll shoot it on my media and the whole bit. And I just want you guys to have a great day, and I wish you all the best in 2021. And above all, this COVID world we live in, I have to say it. Please practice the safety and protocol. It is beginning to ravage my family members too, right? So there's been situations, and my gardener even died of it 3 weeks ago.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so this is really serious out there, and I want us all to get back on track again. And we need to do what we do, unified as the United States of America, not the divided States of America. And we'll all get through this, and we'll get back to having fans in the audience where I can take pictures and say hi to everybody. And I miss that because I love the fans, and I can't wait for the fans to be back.
Yeah, I want to dabble into that. The next time we speak to you, I have a million more questions, but I know you're short on time. So thank you again, Bruce.
It's my pleasure. You guys take care. Thank you so much. Appreciate everything. Big cheers, no fears, and just take care of yourselves.
Buffer's gonna scream at you, be mean to you. If you don't like it, make it known he's not keen of you. Supper's too cold, not done right, slap a fool. I'm so big, girls drool for the tool. Failed out of school, Buffer's gonna scream at you. Unkept pool, Buffer's gonna scream at you. Netflix not renewed, Buffer's gonna scream at you. KEWL is not how you spell cool. Buffer's gonna scream.